Welcome, 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 everyone. How are we doing today? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome back to Instructions for Humanity. All right, I'm going to wait for some more of you guys to enter really quickly. I know that the notification was a little bit weird, so we're going to wait for some of you guys to come in. Come on, guys, shout out your city, your country, your vibe. It's a great day. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Gail. Hi, Donna. Hi, Brenda. You got the notification? Yes. Okay. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. Um, we'll see. We'll see if some more people come in. Sister Carolyn, welcome in. Guys, I don't know what to say. It's given the vibe that the things that we started talking about last year are now like happening now. And so I want to talk about a lot of things today, and I'm going to try to do this where it's not all over the place, because remember, everything is everything. And this video actually picks back up where we left off yesterday. And so I always give a little recap for you guys, because there's some new viewers that have not viewed the channel, and so they're not totally lost, right? Okay, Barbara, by the way, my dear, you said it's a calm and introspective day. You're a channeler. You are a channeler. That's the energy field. Me and my friend, we do these like kind of check-ins sometimes, like, hey, what's the energy out there, right? And today it was just calm, neutral and calm. Yes, neutral and calm. This is an energy field, and baby, you must be channeling, because it's the calm before the storm. I truly do believe it's the calm before the storm. Welcome in, Vicky. Love from Australia. Hi. Nice to see you again. Awesome, guys. So come on in, guys. First and foremost, I do want to say, salut, Natalie. Welcome in. I want to say my channel has been heavily scrutinized because of obviously the things that I share here. And, the other day they took some subscribers away. So please double check, make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. And if you watch this channel on a regular basis, and it's been giving you value, please consider subscribing to the channel, because it helps them keep their foolishness at bay, and helps the channel grow. And please put a like on the video when you come in. I truly do appreciate every single person tuning in. Thank you guys so very much. While we're waiting for some more notifications to go out, few announcements here, guys. So I am starting back up my quantum telepathic healing and psychic development course. And guys, when I tell you, I'm going to show you the curriculum here. When I tell you guys, the last class I had, everyone was telepathic. A lot of us had past lives together. Like, we're going to be channeling, we're going to be learning psionics, which is the foundation, of any, being psychic, really. But it's deeper, because guys, this is science, spirit science. This is your own technology. It's not about being psychic, right? Every single person is psychic because you have 5 senses, but it's when you can tune in to those 5 senses and expand them. And I teach you that. I make it very, very easy. And this is how you gain your discernment, or what I like to call your God power, right? Your God power is just on the other side of those 5 senses. Some people, theirs are turned off, but when you turn it on, you really get the God power, you get the discernment. So we're going to learn over 20 different quantum healing tools and modalities. So we're going to learn, Reiki, energy medicine, telepathy, automatic writing. That's what I do right here, getting these channels. We're going to learn channeling, remote viewing, mediumship, quantum healing anatomy, quantum chakra clearing, meridian clearing, right? Those are your energetic highways. You got to know how to use those, right? And breathwork, meditation, and light language, right? Another thing that I do, over 300 pages of content, as well as 24 video lessons. It is a step-by-step play on how to do this. I make it so simple. It cannot get easier than this. So if you are interested in that, there's going to be a class starting in March. So please do email me and I will send you all the information and the official flyer. There's like 3 more pages to it. And you can have that. And I think we need to get started. Allow me to introduce myself. Welcome in, Sister Sonia. My name is Tahira, Mother of the Ages. I'm a supernatural quantum healer and, a psychic investigator, past life regressionist. I lead people to their past life so they can see for themselves the event that literally has them looped up in a cycle. I'm telling you guys, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I am telling you guys, everything you're struggling with is because the event came from another timeline or past life. That's where it's at. And until you see that, until you understand why it happened, you'll never, ever, transcend the duality focal point. So we know what's happening right now, but you need to go back to the origin of the original infliction so that you can see it, experience it, feel it, and release it through the quantum telepathic healing hypnosis session that I do. There's a link down below. I have a January special. It is literally like $140 off. And it is the most life-changing, transformational. It really does allow you to see your blind spots, spiritually, right? So it's a deeper spiritual diagnosis, essentially. So take advantage of that. Now, guys, I don't even know how to flow with this thing simply because something freaky happened. Something very freaky happened. But my life, I'm supernatural. So freaky stuff always happening to me, freaky in a good way, right? Freaky in a good way. Well, yesterday the channel was crazy. We found, let me explain this. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Something popped up on my computer from, me and my spiritual team. Shout out to my spiritual team. Me and my spiritual team, we did a session back in where we were healing that the Leviathan timeline, and all this stuff was coming up in the Christ, and we did a healing session on the Christ. It was a lot. It just took us there. I think we spent like 4 hours at least in this session because I literally I do work for the collective, not just here, but I'll do healing sessions for the collective energy. I'll sit there for hours and just work on our collective energy as well. So this happened back in July. Why did the document? Because I took notes. Document popped up today. It has some very interesting things to say. And I'm here to tell you, we were already channeling this. We were already seeing the perversion of the cross. And that's why yesterday, remember I had 2 videos up. One was the Erika Kirk, the perversion of the cross. But somehow some people went to that link and some people went to the other link. And I had no idea that 2 streams were happening at once, right? And it's because I was supposed to find that. So Spirit brought that back up on my computer. And I'm here to tell you that we're about to plug in with the channel we got yesterday, because there's something very interesting happening as we talk about the character on the world stage called Erika Kirk, right? We know Erika Kirk, her consciousness has been removed. In fact, she's always had a consciousness that she did not have full autonomy over. Some may say even enslaved consciousness. I've seen people who have enslaved consciousness, and simply all this is you're functioning like a regular human being. However, when you pass away, I see them in chains. I see them in chains, and then I'll see them in futuristic clothing representing being enslaved for another 400 years or whatever. So she has one kind of, that's the consciousness that came into this experience, right? And also 2, she was created by the military industrial complex, right? Because the mind control, the what do you call it, the handlers, being born into some elite ring, is kind of what I'm seeing, or adjacent to it. this sort of thing. So this is her upbringing. She was always in this thing. But see, sometimes the establishment will birth children of this nature to use their bodies to hop in and hop out. Because right now, we should have had our latter rains. We should have had our full harvest from source, but they know that. And so they use characters like this. And the character I'm speaking of is the entity that is operating the avatar of the body of Erika Kirk. When I say entity, it's actually not separate. You must understand what we think is Erika Kirk is a full-blown entity, and this entity is like some sort of high-level reptilian. It's higher. I'm talking. It's the queen mother of it. So as we see her humanoid body that has tech, liquid tech within the body and tech out of the left eye, the consciousness that pops in during times like this to bring a certain temperament to the earth so that we do not expand during our natural mega universal cycles where we go through periods or even ages of contraction and periods of expansion. We are in a period of expansion, but it feels like contraction. The contraction is a lie. The contraction is because people like the Erika Kirk character, they bring a very dense energy here, and they bring an inversion of light. And Erika Kirk, whatever is embodying that humanoid vessel, is a perversion of the cross. And I wrote this back in July, before this even happened. And it shows up in the automatic drawing. And I'm going to show that to you guys. Everything is everything, guys. Cell service, all this, 6G, we're going to talk about it. Monkeypox, new flu variant. Everything is everything. Remember I said, there's an entity in our skies. There's a war being fought above us that's causing the radiation. And then we get a new flu variant. Monkeypox is back. Cell phone. And then you said there's a calm energy. It's the calm before the storm. And then yesterday, there's a lot to get into, guys. You would think I would be done by now. I never thought this thing could expand this much. I'm telling you, I could keep talking for 5 years, and there just still, there would just be more content on this. There just truly would be. And even yesterday or the day before, you know, my channels, I can't call them channels anymore. There's something different. They're vibrant. I see in like, you know, you see like a 3D movie. So like when I get now messages and images, they come with like if I was in a cartoon and it would be like, bam, wham, like all of these like, you know, stars next to it to like really express. That's how my channels come through. And even when I see something or I hear something, they'll come through with just like, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, kind of, you know, out there kind of letters. But I was, hold on, and let me catch what I was going to say. I was sitting there and all of a sudden I saw 1929 in like big blocky letters, like 3D letters. And then before 1929, I saw the word hope, but the hope was distorted. The hope had like a L, like it was distorted. And I remember having an L in the beginning. Obviously, there's no L in hope, but it was distorted. 1929 was the crash, was the Great Depression. That was that major crash that we had. I've been channeling this energy that's what they want to bring back. We were supposed to get harvest, but they've been trying to like pull the lever to 1929. These are periods of reset. And if you look at the 1929, guys, see, source never lies. Come through, Source. Hold on. Source is saying something right now. Source wants me to subtract this. We're in 2026. I guess I didn't need a calculator for that, girl. So that's 97 years. Every 80 years or so, we get a new system. I told you guys we're not dealing with energy anymore. We're dealing with timelines. This psychic investigation has really, really let me know that we are dealing with timelines. They have us they're trying to take us back to the 1929 timeline, because after the 1929 there was a reset, because there was a depression, there was a suppression, there was what people couldn't eat, there were deaths, there was destruction. It's an energy field, guys. You have to understand. And actually there's no such thing as a timeline per se, is what came up, but we're going to get there. When this, whatever this thing is that is embodying Erika Kirk's avatar, when that perverted the cross, we now got timelines. We never had it. We had quadrants. We had directions. We were always living on a multi-dimensional spread. Now this message could get deep. So, so get ready. Please like the video and subscribe. But that's the energy field. They want to put us back there. That's what they've been doing, guys. You have an energy field. We all have energy fields, right? In my energy field, I have my, obviously myself as I am. I have my ancestors' DNA, right? Shows up. You have your own traumas or your own likes, dislikes. And then you have your own subconscious programming. And then you have, your own self-concept. And then you have like how you reflect your inner world outwardly. That's your energy field. Doesn't matter what I say, really, with my mouth, if my mind, subconscious, is reflecting a different vibration. So this is the energy field that you exist in. Right. And within my energy field, I'm always doing this kind of work. So that's why I'm getting the source codes, because I'm in the energy field to do this. I could simply decide I didn't want to do this and I could pop out of this energy field and then it just wouldn't show up because I'm not in the field. They are putting humanity, what they're doing, the reason why they were able to do this, we're going to get into, I saw the perversion of the cross, right? So what they do with these timelines that are actually fake, they created the timelines. We never had that. We had something far better, Well, what they do is they stretch the timeline. I don't know how they do it per se, with tech and all, but what it does is it allows them to go back to a certain event. And then the events, these traumatic events, like for instance, they're going into a collective template. And in the collective template, they've accessed the timeline of 1929 crash because it holds the right energy for the death and destruction doomsday timeline, which Erika Kirk is a part of energetically. And so this is why I got that message. Guys, as we outlined yesterday, you can't see it. Yeah, maybe a little. Every time you see this deep line here, there's a let me see if I can remove the background. Every time you see these diagonal lines, I'll just explain it to you. These diagonal lines that show up in the field, this is not only part of the perversion of the cross, which was the X. Remember the X that Charlie had on his neck before, when I did the first channel? He had an X on the automatic drawing right on his neck. So we're going to get to that because I channeled the X back in July. And you're going to find it very interesting how it also talks about the Thea being a mutation. What have we been dealing with? Charlie, even Candace. And in all of these, hold on, I got to take this background. Now we're about to get deep. Now we're about to get deep. Hold on. Let me take this off. So, yesterday, I called her shape-shifting. Every time you see this line, this is not only, you see this circle here, there's a C for Charlie and a hook. That's the Grand Reaper hook. That's the death and destruction hook right there. Well, let me tell you this. Every time you see this line, where did this line come from? It came from the X that we were seeing all over. And you're going to understand when I read the channel to you that I got back in July. But that was yesterday. But back in November, it showed it again. Here's the C for Charlie, and here's the hook, Grand Reaper. That's the death hook right there. That was shown in Charlie's field. That's Charlie there, look. Death state, right after the electromagnetic shock that I saw them do. But now, get this. This one came up today. I didn't even show you guys this yesterday. I went back to December. Erika Kirk. What do we have yet again? Yet again, what do we see here? Hold on, let me line it up. Here it is. We have a C and a hook. We have the same C and the hook, but the hook is starting here, and it's going like that. And then there's that X again. And then this is just spell work. That's when I draw lines like that, it's the energy of spell work. And there's, look, all of these X's here in her field. And there's that same diagonal line. That's her. That's her messing around with timelines. Every time you see this, I want you to understand, I'm going to show you what this is. The channel I got back in July. I'm going to show you what this line is. Now it makes more sense of why we're seeing this line. And the line shows up here again. That's Erika Kirk. Every time I see this line, think about the X, right? But take away one line and then we get this. This is when whatever entity that is that messes around with the timelines, it bends time and space. Hence why I got the 1929. That's an energy field they want to pop us into because the template is already built. Once they can get you on top of this template, it's easier because there's already the energy of famine, the energy of loss, of financial loss, of stress, of death. It's already in the template. So why create a new one? All they've been doing is perverting the cross. Because the X2 was also in the vibration. I'm gonna read my channel. The X was good until the elites mutated it. It's a mutation. It was never to be that way. But Erika Kirk is operating out of one line of the X, which is a mutation of timeline, is what I see. So anytime we see that, she's messing around with timeline. Remember I said she was like a witch or like a grand wizard witch. Like she's in the sky. She's not here. I understand you see her here. That's the avatar. And even the consciousness that I speak of, you're like, okay, well, it has to be inside the body. Nope, not necessarily. This consciousness is controlling that body, but this consciousness is a very high level. And the only thing I can compare it to is reptilian, but it's even higher than that. So now we have 3 instances where we get her Dash messing around with timelines. And the crazy part is that we get Charlie in this each time. And why that's important is because everyone was so confused. It's cutting out. You can hear fine. Can you guys hear me? Oh boy. What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? You can hear me fine? Yes? All right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm here though. It's okay. It's okay, Shayla. Okay, well, I'll continue. Here's the thing. Thank you. Thank you, Gal. Here's the thing, guys. Everyone's confused about Charlie. Is he here? Is he not here? We know that the original thing was a psyop. Charlie did not die that day. But something has shifted with Charlie. And it's like I channeled on New Year's Eve. They want to use him for a New Year's ritual because how else are they going to get to the 1929 timeline without a blood sacrifice, right? I randomly opened to a page in my mother's Bible and it was page 66 and it said sacrifice at the top. They want to, and I don't know if they've already done it because the actual New Year's not until the ending of March, but they could have also used the Matrix New Year. But it appears that they've been taking stuff from Charlie. And the reason why they've been taking consciousness and stuff like that is simply because Charlie Kirk's consciousness has done this at least 3 times where he's been reseated. Where's he going next? Into a civil rights activist. I saw the body, and the body was still somewhat being formed. And the interesting thing is it had a cut in the neck. And this is how it confirmed it was Charlie, even though it was a black man. Right? So that is what is happening with Charlie. And so his consciousness is going into a new vessel, and there will be a new couple on the world stage. And I don't know when. I don't know if they'll do it after the 1929 timeline, if that is a success. But just know if you see a new world leader, I don't care what country they're in, but they're black, and all of a sudden they just come out of nowhere and they're like some sort of civil rights activist. They might make him like an MLK, you know what I mean, as well. And if you see that, you will know that that is Charlie Kirk. And he'll have broad shoulders as well. But also, too, if you see his wife or partner, she's going to look like what I saw Erika Kirk cloaking as. This one here. You see her? We went over this yesterday. I'm just reiterating it. It even has an E here. That's a mouth. That's a fuller lip. She looks to be, you know, she looks to be black or biracial. That's Erika, that same eye. You know, she's always crying out of one eye. That's her. I caught her shapeshifting. This is her new avatar, which belongs to the body that came through, which the body that's being formed of the new black civil rights activists. That's his partner. It'll be Erika Kirk and Charlie all over again. Source never lies. That's what I see. So, but here's the thing. Not even the catch. Here's the thing. Now it's about to get deep because how is it that I channeled this psychic investigation back in July? Me and the spirit team, like how? Because you have to understand, there's no way Erika Kirk, C, Charlie, the hook, death hook, right there. That's my sign for spell work. She's on massive, and that's Charlie down there in the death state. That was November. And I missed this one, but look at what I wrote in December. I drew in December, 12/15. Here is again that line. That's her. And this, she was doing massive. The entity was doing massive spell work. I got to keep saying that because we got to understand what's going on. This was massive spell work on the collective. Who's the sacrificial lamb? Charlie again. Here's the C, and here's the death hook. Right there. Death hook. I remember I said she always has these circles, like, well, I circled that, but look, there's all these X's in a row. It's like, tic-tac-toe, like you win. Her energy is always playing games. It's always in this game energy. Like it's very interesting. But here's the thing I did not mention. The face shows up yet again. In the same position as this face. Look, it's just slightly over, but that's on Erika's line. Erika's always tilted. You have to understand that because she's always perverting the cross and entering timelines, doing her work. That's another face. Eyes, little mouth. It's the same. That's still Charlie. So now another data point. It's like she has Charlie. She's holding Charlie. It's not she. It's whatever entity is inside of her. Then it's interesting now because as of yesterday, we have the same C and we have the same death hook. But look, it's in the center. I believe she's gotten to whatever timeline she's trying to pervert, whatever manipulation this entity is trying to do. This is centered. This is centered. And I believe that this was a success because of the positioning. Because if you were to bring back the other part of the X, then if you were to tilt that X back straight, this would be the heart space. So it's either, and I know it was success. It was a success. It was because of the positioning of the heart, but also too, where's the Christ energy? Through the heart, through the heart. When you turn your heart lamp on, this is a massive perversion of the cross of the Christ. Now, let me read this to you guys. Now, it's kind of choppy because I was typing so fast that like some things don't make sense, but you'll get the general, the gist of what I was trying to say here. 1 second. So you'll get the gist of it here. Maybe I should try to bring it up. Should I bring it up? Okay. All right, guys. This is what was written. So I say in the first session, I'm taking notes. In the first session, the cross were the coordinates to the 5D and beyond consciousness. The cross is originally written with the letter K. So the Christ, guys, actually in spirit realm is written with a letter K. It's not written with a C. Okay. Me and my spiritual team, we want to leave a sign, because let me set this up for you guys. So we're part of a 12-dimensional council, right? And in the 12D, we don't have like how we have this linear time here, right? So technically, when I go in and do work, I can go right from that dimension, right? And it's a lot like working with timelines, although it's not a timeline. It is now to our mind. It's not a timeline. These are just energy fields, right? And these are just collective consciousness. So this day, this is what we were doing. We actually had spent like 4 hours. We were in session with the Christ, like removing the nails and stuff from his feet and stuff, and doing some very beautiful healing, which there was still more to be done. I think everyone's worried about Yeshua, Jesus saving them, but no one asks, hey, what do you need? What can I do for you? And in this day, we saw massive nails in his hands and in his feet, and we were caring for those and stuff. And then this is how we got to this point where we understood the original cross or Christ was written with a K. So what we were viewing is How will humanity, after this paradigm is over and we have to run the show again, how will humanity find this same energy, the Christ energy? We wanted to leave behind a sign so that in the collective template, so that when humanity again, so this whole thing falls down, one day when humanity is rebirthed, we wanted to leave a sign for them to follow. How will they get to the Christ vibration? And so what we did was, so we said that the K, the cross, were the coordinates to the 5D and beyond. So me and the spiritual team, we wanted to leave a sign that the sign to the cross, which represents going to a higher consciousness. So what we decided to do is we decided to leave the long part of the cross. So if you look at what we did, I'll show you guys what we did in the session. So we left this. We left this behind, the long part. This is what we left for humanity. Now, I don't know if this shows up as the letter L or the number 1. I believe it shows up as the number 1, but this is what you gotta think. We're not here. We're in the 12th dimension, right? And so we're looking at different timelines per se, or different energy fields. That is a potentiality for humanity. And what we found is we have to leave a sign behind. God never leaves us without a sign. And we understood there's people like us that are out doing the work, which we are the helpers. So we left this, right? Let me ask you this. Why the heck is Erika Kirk using the sign that we left behind? Look. Remember, this long line here was part of the X, was part of the cross. They perverted the cross, tilted it, turned it to an X. And she's operating out of one of the legs of the X, but that was exactly what we left behind. Does that make sense? Unless you do this kind of healing, it might not make sense, but we essentially left that in the collective template as a sign of remembrance of the cross, so that future humanities will be able to find a light again in the times of darkness. I believe that message popped up on my computer. I hadn't seen that message since I wrote it. It's been 6 months. This is what I believe Erika Kirk is using. And it makes sense why I can channel her so well, is because in one way, she is an adversary force from the work that I've done, like, so in one way, it's almost like she's working with my energy signature, because that's the work that we did. It also is the Christ, right? It's also us light workers who do this kind of work. She's perverting our work. She's perverting the cross. She's perverting the Christ. Let me continue. So that's what we left behind, the long part of the cross. We thought that it would be enough for the earth children to remember their calling back home to source. We left it as a remembrance, to remember their calling back home to source. But instead of remembering and completing the cross through love and compassion in their heart, the negative energy that stemmed from the cross turning it into a letter C. Hold on. This is where my words got jumbled because I was writing fast. But what I'm saying is, we were actually looking, I think at that point we were remote viewing like what already happened. That's what it was. And then we were leaving the long part of the cross so that future humanities would be able to find that would be a symbol, and they would have a little bit of a leadway to the path back home to source, back home to the Christ, right? So they didn't do it. We saw that instead of them completing the cross, only thing they had to do was to dot the I and cross the T. That's it. We left this part. It's kind of like now, right? Where you know about, you know about the light, you know about source, you know about the Christ. And the only thing you have to do is kind of follow it, which is to finish off the cross, which is to just, complete the other line, which is the smaller line. So most of the work has already been done. You just got to give the 1/3, right? You just got to give the 30% or so. But they didn't do it, but instead they were consumed by the negative energy, and it became the cross, that line that was going to be left for the remembrance back to source, which is part of the cross, part of the Christ, became a mutation, turning it into the letter C. And we have been living under the mutated Christ ever since. Christ is even more, and then I just wrote as a side note, Christ is even more powerful with a K, because that's the original vibration I'm making reference to. It's really to be spelt with a K, and I got that directly from the Christ. And so his original vibration, that is what it was. And then even and then it's like, it becomes like second gen. So essentially, what happened within this timeline that we were viewing is that remembrance, wasn't enough. We left something else before, and it didn't work, right? Because like our council is like, we kind of like guide humanity like as a collective, right? So whatever we left before, and I can't remember what it was, but whatever we left before was not enough. They could not rise to the occasion and finish it off. So it became a mutation. And so this line, it says turned into the letter C. And I know this is hard to kind of reconcile, but essentially this is what I keep saying, that this is Erika Kirk, this line here, but this has turned into the letter C because it is a mutation, because the cross or the Christ is, the original vibration is with a K. So when you see the cross, the Christ with the C, it is a natural mutation. And I find it very interesting that all we are doing here is seeing all of these C's. And what have I kept saying? This is a mutation of the cross, the X. But what it truly is this is deep, y'all. I can't even, this may just be too deep. I'm even trying to like, how is that possible? We see all these C's, and literally source is saying it's because it's a mutation. What I've been saying this whole time, it's a mutation, a perversion. Then Christ, it goes on to say that the X used to be like marking your door, right? Like with blood on your door, so that in times of trouble, you would have the blood on your door, the blood of Christ, and then trouble would pass your house. That is what it was originally made for, the X. But this timeline that we viewed of how humanity could not collectively remember the source, they could not collectively open their heart. And so because they couldn't collectively open their heart, that line of the cross mutated and turned up into a C, but also to the X, which is this is difficult to understand. The X is the mutation that I've been talking about this whole time. I told you all this was going to be convoluted, even for me. I'm trying to get it straight. So the X was good until the vibration of the cross change of the Christ went from the K vibration to the C vibration, which was a natural mutation. And what do we have here? We have the consciousness transfer we've been talking about with Charlie Kirk, and we have all of these C's and the death hook popping up. And I truly believe that whatever the entity is that is inside of the humanoid body of Erika Kirk is the original influencer of even this timeline of this work that we were doing back then. Now, mind you, we were viewing different periods of time within the collective soul body, Akashic soul. But I think that I've come face to face with the entity. So what I'm saying with the work it is that I do is to clean out the collective soul body. That this entity or energy in Erika Kirk was the one that perverted humanity in the first place. What we're experiencing present day now is a repeat, baby. We've already done this. Unless the day of this session we were viewing this timeline. And I don't believe so. I believe that we were viewing, now mind you, it's like something can happen right now. It's not about a first, second, and third, because the matrix is like just a game of circles and loops. It's about alignment. When you align back with that energy, then you can bring up all of the different energy fields or timelines that so to speak, event dwells on, or that destruction, template dwells on. It rolls out the whole spread to you when you align it. And I believe that the entity inside of Erika Kirk is the same entity that did the first perversion, and humanity lost their way and the Christ fell. And what I mean by it fell in vibration, because the people did not remember their way home, because they were colluded with the negativity. And this entity was helping collude the earth and the earth children. I hope you can understand that. I knew that was going to be deep, right? So the X was good. And then it goes on, and I channeled the Hebrew word aleph, right? Which when I looked it up, it looks exactly like the letter X. So that was just a confirmation. But that aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And it's a silent letter with a numerical value of 1, and it means oneness and unity and the beginning of all things. It even talks about how in the Kabbalah it represents the infinite and unknowable aspect of God. So hold on, now this part gets a little, I got to read through it. Okay, let me leave that part out because that's going to get convoluted, because then we got to get into numerology. But the whole point is this. We had an X. The X, and I'm going to give you an example of the X representing the being marked. You know how they say the mark of the beast? No, that's because they perverted it. The mark was always you being marked by source. It was always like this X. in blood. Let's use the blood of Yeshua Jesus, right? That's the way that it originally was. But through this whole thing that I just explained, listen back to it, because I'm trying to explain it again. The X fell in vibration. Now, how do people use the X? They use it as like something secret, or they use it as a target, to like shoot something at. X marks the spot. Or, they use it negatively, but it was never that. It was always the original mark so that you could find your way home. And me and the spirit team, we left one of the lines of the cross, because in truth, the cross is, okay, how spirit shows it to me, the vibration of it, the whole point is the heart. When these two things meet at a point in the heart, the two lines, this is how you get, this is a clock. And it's a sundial. I don't know what else to say. It's like a sundial clock. The whole point is the quadrant to the heart. That's the whole point. And that's why I said I know that worked. That last thing I showed you for Erika Kirk, because it was in the quadrant of where the heart was, just tilted because she's part of the mutation. Because remember, the cross, that line turned into a C because it was bent, because someone traversed timelines and years to, do you see what I'm saying? I know this may be above a lot of people's pay grade. Like I said, I know it worked. That's her, because it's right in that line where the heart meets, because that ain't what you think that it is. It's right there, right in the center. But the only difference is our line is upright, and we're just waiting for humanity to complete their part to go through the eye of the needle. Hers is skewed. And remember, she's part of gravity. This entity, it's not Erika really, it's the entity inside. And it's also carrying that C. Yes, this is Charlie in the death hook, but it's also the mutation. It says here that the C becomes like a third generation mutation. And so the cross is you see how I said it? Originally, these were quadrants, because this is multidimensional. You have different light bodies you can use. And this cross, this point here, when you align through the heart chakra, gives you access. But it's like a sundial. It's like a clock, but it's formed by the sun. It's what I'm saying. Son of God, son above and son of God. So, but that's how you get there, right? So really, we've always had direction. The whole point is we left some direction. We always had direction, but you have to align with the point in the heart in order to get access to the sundial. And this is how you can gauge and move multidimensionally. Boy, took me a long time to say that. So then when you look at, we start to talk about, guys, I want to get this message right. Maybe, let me be patient with myself. Please like the video and subscribe. And then also what we found out is that the Y is a mutation of the X. So we started from the K, right? And then we had an X, right? But the X was still good. The X was still able to cover us, to put a mark, for us to find, the path home. But then it's like every time this changes, it becomes a mutation. And then we have to bring up Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth is, the lesser God, that they speak of. It is also a mutation of the cross. So when I tell you what's inside of her body is literally within the Yaldabaoth. It's the lesser God that we channeled yesterday. And this message is confirming it. So the Y is a mutation of the X, right? First generation. So the first generation was the K, then we had the X, then we had the Y. And how we got the Yaldabaoth. See, these letters aren't just letters. This is not, they say that English is a new language. It's not a new language. No, it's not. It's not. That's what they tell you, because they don't want you to know how old this was and that there were people here speaking English before they even got here. But this thing has a lot to do with even being on different star systems as well, because we carry the same things with us. So we'll carry our number system and our lettering system, right? And is what I'm saying. So we get the why. The reason why the Yaldabaoth, the lesser god, was able to actually seat himself on this side of the universe is because, remember, that they broke away the K. I know that this message is, whew, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Because it was like this. It was the K. This was the original Christ. And then we broke that, one of that broke off, right? And then we had the Y. So, what is really showing me is like Christ's body has just been taking a lot of tears and breaks. This is not the first time that we've gotten the consciousness of the Christ to come here and wake up humanity. We've been doing this for a very long time. And each time, like, even though we keep changing the generations of it, in its whole state, it was K, right? And then some fragmentation came along. Then we had the X, right? And then we had the Y. And then, like I said, that the long part of the cross mutated again and turned into the C. But what this truly is, when we just expand it, the Christ has been with us for so many different eons, and they've been breaking the body for so many different eons. And what me and the spiritual team did was we said, hey, let's leave a sign, not the whole thing, because the last time we left too much. And, sometimes when you give people too much, they distort it. They don't appreciate it. But we left just enough for them to be able to still do their own work and to follow the path home. But what we're really seeing here is the Christ has been with us throughout the eons. This energy, they say the Christ is only this amount of years old. No, it's an infinite energy that has always broken down its own body. And even within the fragmentation of itself, it's still very powerful and potent. Now I'm understanding that line, and greater things shall you do, because I think the Christ knows that the Christ has been getting weak. So what I see, it's with my spiritual eyes. With all these sessions that I've done with the Christ, it's the energy. That body has taken a lot. That body who has taken bullets, right? And it's through the eons. Okay. It's a lot happened in that session, but I think if I go any further, it will get very, very convoluted, because then it goes into the slicing of DNA and chromosomes and all of that stuff. It is going to get really, really deep then. But and I'll have to go back and listen to my video of the session, which I think was 4 hours long or so. That's kind of a lot of information to get through. But the whole point is this: the consciousness inside of Erika Kirk is it's the direct energy that we've been looking for. Remember I said that we are bringing Yaldabaoth and his minions down here. We're bringing the archons down here because of our awakening. This message proves it. And so in one way, the Aldebaoth and these energies, where they're able to run away with the breaking down of the Christ body, right? And run away with, manipulating the energy field. But all they do when they mutate it, they have no idea they're about to run back into your awakening. They have no idea. I see it so clearly. So this is what we're left with. You have to understand, after the K, then there's the Y. Well, the K, then there's the cross, and then we had the Y, and then we get just one part of the X. We just are left with this. But to even get this is a mutation. It's a manipulation of the whole soul body of the Christ. It's a mutation. And they had to bend time and space to get the gravity to hold us here, is what I'm saying. I equate this thing with gravity and holding something down, and then it aligns with the heart because it knows that that's access to the sundial, which is truly the way out. So, but what they have no idea is that every time they think that they're literally taken from the Christ or stopping the evolution through the mutation of the cross, is that they show their hand. I don't think you guys understand what we're seeing here. Even yesterday I said it, but it's bigger than that. What we're seeing here, we are literally this ideology that people call Satan. Satan and Jesus, we can also look at that as energy fields, right? Of being of light and being of darkness. But what is truly happening is we are coming face to face with the entity that started the fragmentation since the beginning. Wrap your head around how big this is. This is massive. The entity that I said, that's why I keep seeing her in the sky. It's like she's above everything, even Trump. This being, this consciousness that dwells within this body is a personification of the original infliction that severed our connection with source, is what I'm saying. And it thinks it's been hiding throughout the eons, but eventually every dog has its day. We caught it. And this has, and just remove Erika Kirk, the body, because that's just remove her out of the way. And let's just deal with the energy. Do you know how much pain this energy has caused humanity? How much looping? We caught them trying to set us back to 1929. How much looping? Oh my God, I'm getting a surge of energy. No. I'm getting a surge of energy right now. When you walk this path, guys, you think you're going to get stuff in the same year, in the same decade, in the same lifetime. But this force humanity has been fighting since the beginning of time. And I can say it's here. We are face to face on the battlefield in this lifetime after all of those eons. And we have left the remembrance. We left the path, part of the path home. The only thing that you must do to defeat this energy is to align with the heart lamp, align with the heart vibration, with the Christ vibration through the heart. And then when you dwell within that, you get the other line that finishes off the the cross, and then now the sundial opens up. This is the cosmic time clock, which is like a sundial. This is your direction. So the cross, the Christ has always been a directional spirit. And in fact, some of us, light workers have been leaving signals for humanity to follow. We've been leaving things within our collective, soul body, within our collective Akashic records. We've been leaving these little nuggets for our awakening, and we are awakening in mass numbers now. We have come face to face with the enemy. This is deeper than Satan, because sometimes Satan can just be a boogeyman that you can never identify. It's an energy. A lot of people can be of the Satan energy, but this entity, we've been dealing with this thing since the beginning. And it's the reason why we are not on our original blueprint. The reason why you even have the separation of left brain, right brain, when we were all together in one. Because as Brenda outlines, the X is also our chromosomes. Yep. Yeah. And to get the Y, you must break part of the X. And remember, I kept saying they perverted the X. I couldn't, it's like I couldn't really articulate, because I think I was using a speech to voice text, and it was like, messing up some of the words, but I'll sit with it. But what we're dealing with truly is not just the mutation of the Christ. I got it. Thank you, Source. I got it. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to take it from here. We're going to take it from here. What we're looking at, yes, and it does start to talk about the chromosomes and stuff on this document. What we're truly looking at is the slicing of the, they've been trying to mess up the God gene. And we spoke about this. They've been trying to figure out how they can embody it and become it. And it's part of you. And even to get the Y, they had to break the X. And why do you think the divine feminine has been heavily, subdued and kind of held down for so long? Not so much in this present day, but still, there's still work to be done within that. Because in order for Yaldabaoth, in order for the masculine, because before we were one, it was an intrasex, is what I'm hearing. All things existed in the wholeness with the X. If you look at the X, it holds the Y in there as well. All we're seeing is them slicing our DNA. And the part of it that they're slicing is the Christ code within us. Mutating the Christ DNA. You have Christ DNA. Someone says it looks like the picture of Leonardo da Vinci's anatomy of a human. Oh, wow. Someone says K, Krishna, Christ consciousness. Yep. Oh, Natalie. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the original form. And I think K is the 11th. Yeah. K is the 11th. I think it's the 11th number in the alphabet. And then it brings me back to the 1. And then I got Aleph. I was channeling the sign for Aleph, and I looked it up, and it means oneness. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. But you know how we got the C, which is the number 3, A, B, C. That's 3. That's how we get the Trinity. But really, it's all one. That's why I say, that's why we can't make sense of it. It's one and many. And everyone's like, how you can be one and many at the same time? It's because you can't. You can be whole at the same time. It was a wholeness that we came from. Taking the X before they took the piece off to make the Y. I mean, at first it was a K, right? But then we got an X, and the X still was able to cover us. But then when it got to now the other gen, we got the Y, and then they took another line away. Now we have now I'm seeing the order, because those notes were everywhere. Now I'm seeing the order. Let me write it down for you here so you can see what had happened. Because what we're really seeing, guys, see, Source told me this. I channeled this in the Cosmic Bible. I had a premonition 20 years ago that I was fighting beast entities. I didn't even know nothing about entities back then. And within my dream state, I would ascend, like back up, like, to the cosmos and God would just tell me, you can do it. You can defeat them. I would get strength, and I would go back down, and I would fight again. And every time the beast came, it was bigger and bigger every time. And I remember that. Well, what's happening now? What am I doing? I'm literally defeating entities. Like, I never thought I would do this work. I was always afraid of my own shadow. So what? You couldn't tell me nothing. I had to go through this because it was a premonition. God already told me I would be doing this. And in fact, I'm already, there's another part of me that is constantly doing this, right? Because we live on a multidimensional spread. So my higher self is, has always been doing this. But what we're seeing now is that the fight is here. Do not, put your energy anywhere else but this, fixing the perversion of the cross. And the beauty is, if humanity knew, we don't need them to fix this. All we do is change the energy field. If we get out of their business and get back into heart, which is our business, we're here for heart. We're here to ascend through the heart, to expand out, which completes the crossing of the T. If you dot your I's and cross your T's, you get out of here. It opens you up to the direction. Okay, so we have the K. And then we have the X. And we have the Y. Then we have this. And then we have this. And then we have this. Here's the original. We have the K. Now this could be, these could all be interchangeable, right? But I'm just giving you an example. We have the K. Really, if we take this out, if we break this, then we get the Y, right? But if we, how do we do that? If we were to straighten this line and straighten this one, then that would be the X. And then
Tam.
People always want to bother me when I'm doing my work. I don't like to be disturbed when I'm doing my work. Sorry, that's my one thing. When I'm doing Source's work, do not call me or disturb me. Sorry, that annoys me deeply. Love you, girl. But all right. We have the cross, which really is this X just perverted. All of this is a perversion. But the perversion is because they've been messing around with our DNA. And then they just took, and then look, we have this. This is what This is what we said we're going to leave humanity, because they didn't remember this when we were operating under the K frequency. They really didn't remember this because now the X is perverted here. They really, didn't remember this because they think that this is actually God, Yaldabaoth. And then they can't just do this. They can't just go through the eye of the needle right through the heart here. So when we were doing our work, we said, we're going to leave them this. Because look, you should be able to find, it's enough for you to have a remembrance, but you still have to do some work. So it was enough here, for there, for this one, for this one. And this is actually this. If you take the X away, you mutate the divine feminine. And then you get this, right? And so when this came, when they started to use this cross, when the patriarchy started to use this, they just used this to control its original form, to control this. So you never remember this, right? Of course, this is like way, way like beginning of time. You never remember this. And that's why we also got, Kabbalah. We got, it gets deep. It's like some people, ancient texts knew about this. So this right here, when I tell you that, so this is Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth, I had a session with a client and she was the original energy. We can think about this as Sophia, that vibration, but it was a little different than that. She was the original energy the Yaldabaoth used to create matter. The divine feminine actually, when the divine feminine is not in flow and she's brought down in the 3D into these denser realms, it creates matter. There would be no material world without the divine feminine, without the perversion of your structure. That's the perversion. We existed within the oneness, the Y, and this is not to get down on men because the Y is part of the X. We were one. That's why when they marry you, they say you're one again, and God is the third one in the union. They're just telling you that you were never supposed to be separate. And so now you have to deal with your partner, who isn't natural mutation. I'm sorry, guys. That's just what the source says. I have love for you still. But so this is what I'm saying, guys. So then when we left this, so this is what Erika Kirk is mutated this, the sign that we left behind for humanity to rise to the 5D consciousness, to remember who they are. But remember, she started to tilt it and to manipulate the sign we left for humanity's awakening is what I'm saying. I could have just said that, but I'm long-winded, you know how it is. That's the line. It was straight up part of the cross that they perverted. And then when she perverted it, the sign we left behind, it turned in on itself. And it's funny how we're talking about the consciousness transfer, the chromosomes mutated, and then we get Charlie and we got C1. What happened to the back of Charlie's neck? The C1 vertebrae. Remember when he always had the X showing up at the back of the neck? And the 3-eye atlas, C is the third letter. Remember, I kept saying that Erika Kirk is part of a 3-eye atlas, but it's like because this thing is everywhere, because we're the Satan that y'all think that y'all, no. This is it. This is it. That Satan is an ideology. This is the real energy that has been manipulating the gene pool for eons. We have found it. We are in the right lifetime, the right timeline to deal with this energy so that we can go back home finally, after all of the signs and mutations, the Christ was always was, because the Christ is part of the light that governs source. The apple of source is I. So source sent a light for guidance because we live in a directional universe. We're never left without codes, never. And that's why they need to pervert and do all this esoteric stuff and matches up with everything. It's because they're just trying to get like us. They're just trying to be like Christ. They've always just wanted to find the God code and gene. That's it. They're hoping that they find it before you, because once you find it, you will free yourself out of captivity. Your consciousness will be free. So they have to keep the perversion going on. Now we plug Charlie into this, which is another just, they need a blood sacrifice every time they change the collective consciousness. Remember how I said when they traversed the 1969 timeline to bring AI, they had to do it. And the reason why they had to do that is because I see the AI working with the consciousness of whatever this entity is in Erika Kirk that is part of Yaldabaoth, but it's also working with AI. It's a huge network to keep all of this, just to keep you away from you. And then they get up there. You think they're powerful. We clapping and standing and all that for them. No, they did all of this just to keep you away from yourself. Because if you free yourself, the material world will crumble. And the divine feminine will rise again. And honestly, what it truly is, the captivity of the divine feminine is the captivity of the collective consciousness. If we go back to this, we can easily get to this. If we just go back to this, if we get back to this, it cancels out the false timeline we've been on when the genes were mutated, the chromosomes were mutated. And with this became all of the rest of the fuckery. The moment we got this. So really, who can heal this place? Divine feminine can heal. Divine feminine can bring this is ours. We can call this back. But what do women do? We are like, oh my God, he left me. I'm so sad and brokenhearted. When we are the one with all the power, we can call it back. Call back your Y chromosome. Call back your essence. It's your essence, really, because they've been operating with our energy and they haven't been using it good. Because it's been a mutation, we have been operating within the mutation of the cross for eons. That's the whole thing. I know it's a lot. It's a lot, whole heck of a lot. Oh, sorry. Oh, Candace Owens mentioned the White Walkers. Oh yeah, she's definitely watching the channel. What up, girl? How you doing, Candy? Candy. We rooting for you over here, girl. We are. X is also chi, the point where spirit crosses flesh. Natalie, you are just so. Natalie, I love you, girl. You are just so lit. You just are. You really are. Thank you. X, chi, the point where spirit crosses into flesh. K, Krishna, Christ consciousness. See? In ancient Greek mysticism, it symbolized the intersection of heaven and earth, the union of spirit and matter, and the cosmic crossroad, a sacred meaning that existed long before Christianity. You can't make it up. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie. And Brenda said, how do we teach this to our children? And you know what's interesting, guys? I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about writing like a children's book, like for conscious children. I used to write children books. I've always been a writer my entire life. I was published, I think, at the age of 15 or 16, but I've always been a writer in some capacity. But thank you for mentioning that, because I think that this is just a verification of what it is that I need to do to be able to teach this, not just to the children, but you know, for some of us that have a hard time with these concepts, I can teach some of this, you know, as well to us as well. The X is our exit strategy, for real, for real. Yes. Yes, absolutely. It is. I'm just like, I'm so happy that, like, you know, I was like, and there's a lot more, because I go into the Hebrew language. I start talking about the letters, like all of this was channeled, and I looked it up, and it was like all true and correct. And those letters also have a lot to do with our unity consciousness as well. So it's very deep, you know, it's like, so hopefully we understood that. Oh, eight, Atmos is a very convoluted message, but it's a good one. Yeah, you have to watch it from the beginning for sure if you're just getting here. The redo, manipulation, change, but okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. And so really, truly, because you know, I've been talking about this with people and with some of my clients that are in this Ascension program. And you know, there's a cheat code to truly, truly, you know, moving into a different space. It's about the energy fields. We exist within energy fields. You have to know that truth, because it takes away time. You know, we're not, this person didn't do this at point A, B, C. You're not 5, 10, and now 30. You're in an energy field, and you can be anywhere on the grid, you know? And so when you align with the Christ energy field, it's the way out of the matrix. And if you would just go back into wholeness, you know how they want women to be so fragmented nowadays. They always kept us, when really we're just like holding vibration. We're just holding flow for everything to exist. But they wanted to be greedy and take this all because we are the closest thing next to God. Message. Come on, young Pharaoh. I remember he used to give them messages back in the day. That's when, someone emailed me about young Pharaoh to do a reading on him. Yeah, so thank you. I'm sorry, I got a lot going on, but thank you. That just kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, because women, we are the closest thing to God. And if people would just honor the woman again, like, look, we'd be so close to God. We'd be right there. Right there. Right there. The whole world would be fixed if we would just allow the divine feminine to rest in who she is, because it's an energy field. The energy field of the divine feminine is fertile waters. It's energy that overflows. You don't need to worry about money. Just when we can go back to this vibration, where everything is bountiful, everything is fixed, everything is healing again. So we've come face to face with the one we've been chasing throughout the dimensions of time, is what I'm saying. It's just so, and look at the such a pretty little vehicle that it hid in. Do you see how they say Satan will always appear as an angel of light? You're expecting it to show up as a monstrous beast, and it won't always show up like that. Yeah. The injection, yeah. Yep. And that, and oh, and I didn't even get there. So thank y'all see, you guys are psychic. I'm sorry. You guys just are. Yep, the you know what? The what do you call, I forgot what I call it. The you know what injection made the DNA change. Yep, providing more blockages to our source connection. So I saw it. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And now I'm not even going to play those videos I was going to play, but what did I say yesterday? Did I not say that? Well, first I said she's working with Three Eye Atlas, because Three Eye Atlas is not just this thing that was passing by. It's an energy. It's a apparatus, a device, a energy, a installation, something that can pull energy, traverse things, like, but it can also be just passing through, but it has a function as well. It can also come through and awaken you, but it still has a function. And you know that they never use these things for light. They always use it for the worst possible thing that they can use it for. So now we spoke about that. We got that. So when we see Charlie popping up the C's everywhere, that's the literally last gen perversion of the cross, the Christ. And these people are running like a mission. They're running Turning Point USA as if it's a freaking church, and they are literally got a whole demon. The demon we've been freaking trying to find since the beginning of time to get back to our original soul's blueprint is literally leading the children astray, leading the world astray, because it's in a pretty earth suit. It's the last stage of deception. And so last year I said, the monkeypox, I channeled this disease. I didn't know it was monkeypox. I just channeled it. And now that's back. And now there is a flu variant that they're saying that there isn't any like flu shot for. It's just another variant that guys, guess what it does? Attacks the GI tract. What did I say? Remember I said why Source told me we needed to do this fast, the juice fast, so to cleanse out our GI tract. So if you guys are in the January fasting reset that we're doing all of this month, Source already told me this was going to be attacked, our gut, our collective gut. And was already telling me you need to start fasting again. You need to cleanse the GI, because the GI is your navigation. Because remember, they already attacked these eyes. Then they attacked your clear audience, the hearing. That was the PSYOP, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, with Trump, Erika, and Charlie. Speak no evil's Charlie. And then Erika's eyes, her and Vance, that see no evil. So what do we have left is our gut mind, our knowing, the ability to feel, where you can see in the dark when you have your gut mind. What a coincidence that this thing attacks the GI tract. I already said it. Source already told me this was coming. And that's why we're fasting. That's why we're cleansing out the GI tract. That's why we're cleansing from the heavy metals and the parasites, the worm, all of that. Because you're going to need clear communication because they've already shut. You guys are conscious on this channel, but they shut a lot of people down already. They can't activate their third eye. It's too late for a lot of these people. They're not going to be able to hear from messages from God because they're listening to people like Erika Kirk. They're hearing from a whole demon, the demon that has been mutating our dreams. Ooh. Okay. I didn't say it, source did. I wanted to say mutating our genes, but it looks like the thing has been mutating our dreams too. Because that's how it does the witchcraft is when you're sleeping, when you're eating something in your sleep or having sex in your sleep and all of these things that people do in the dream state. Source is also saying that this same energy is the one responsible for that because that's when it does the witchcraft when you're weak, when you're not aware, because they've already fragmented the right and left brain. And mind you, if we just go back to the X, you have all of your records, your Akashic records. You don't even need hypnosis at that point. You would just be operating back within the flow, back within the X, which is the closest thing to God, the K, right? With the original way that the cross was spoken. And that is one, the number 11th in the alphabet, which aligns back with the Hebrew first letter Aleph, which means oneness, and it's a double portion of that, and it's a master number as well. And then from 1 + 1 = 2, which is the union already of the X. So technically, the X is still part of the K. You can't make it up. Thank you, source. Murasa Burasata. Murasa Burasata. Murasa Burasata. Sometimes source just be hitting the heart. Sometimes source just be hitting the heart right here. Thank you, source. Wow. I can't even repeat that. I don't know. I can't repeat that. But that was profound and powerful. And I feel it. I feel every time I do these deep sort of messages, the Christ always come through because I can feel the energy. I can feel the energy. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And on top of that, so we got the new variant, because remember, we got the radiation, because this thing that Erika Kirk is attached to, the entity, is also part of tech. Also part of this, the open AI, part of this tech, the 3-Eye Atlas, part of this tech, but also part of the entity that was spotted in the sky. And because there's a war happening above us, which is emitting all the radiation as well, which is why they had to bring in the clouds to hide the radiation. But not only that, when the cell phones went out, guys.
So normally we don't get a whole lot happening here because it's a rural area. But no, my town, yep, Verizon was out. AT&T and T-Mobile, if they were using Verizon infrastructure, they were out. I didn't notice it, but I don't get a lot of calls during the day, and I don't call people on the phone very often. I'm usually around Wi-Fi, and my phone uses Wi-Fi instead. Most of the ways I message people, not text. It's either Signal or Telegram. Maybe I'm paranoid, but did that feel like a trial run to anybody else? Did that, maybe I'm just paranoid, but I feel like us communicating is a problem for some people.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Verizon, all that red. Don't that look like an entity? It has a tail and everything. Playing in our face. That looks like an entity. Look at that. These people are playing in our face. This looks like an entity. Here, there's horns here. You see it? You got like a nose this way. There's horns. Then you have, look, the bumpiness in the back, just like Erika Kirk. You can't make this crap up. I was, ooh, baby. And this is the tail. Baby, come on. Source, if this ain't supernatural, I don't know what is. I truly don't know no more. This is interesting. I'm trying to get back to the picture of Erika Kirk as the reptilian. Does that not look like an entity, guys? I guess I don't have it. Oh no. I lost it. But you guys saw the other picture that I drew, and it showed Erika Kirk as this reptilian. Look, this thing has bumps on the back, and there's the legs right here. And where Cuba is, that's the tail. Up there, right above Quebec, that is the horns. Right here where the Great Lakes is, that's like the mouth, like the nose and the mouth. And then there's the feet hanging out in the ocean. And then there's a baby one of it. This thing, what did I, oh Lord, Jesus. What did I say yesterday? Hold on, y'all. This is getting cuckoo. Did I not say they want to replicate? Did I not say that the consciousness wants to mix with AI to replicate? So Charlie's mind or consciousness, we got the entity that's Erika Kirk. We got them going inside of these new bodies, these new Black civil rights leader. But above that, when we just scale it back and take the avatars away, we pop in both of their consciousness and the AI. And what did I say they wanted to do? Make some sort of copy, crossbreed these two consciousnesses, and then also mix it with tech, making a digital copy to now have that go into a lot of the AI tools and even the robots. So they want to replicate again. So once we got here, you know why they can do that? Because this C creates a half circle. And the matrix, I was even telling my client this, the matrix is a game of circles. And so now if they have two, now they have the circle. That's why they had to do this to Charlie. For whatever reason, he's the sacrificial lamb that they chose to take all this consciousness from. But what they will be doing is to take part of his consciousness, take the entity that's Erika Kirk that keeps receding itself, and then now they mix it with AI, and somehow they're able to make a digital copy of almost as if they too had a baby. But they're doing it in tech. They're doing it with tech, right? With AI. And that digital copy now becomes what I saw. This entity, that's what it looks like. You have that one, and then you have another copy and another copy. And before you know it, you got monkeypox all over this chart. It's just a mutation. There ain't no such thing as disease. Come on, source, speak on it. It's just because they messed up with the divine feminine, the closest thing to God. When they mess that up, of course there's mutations. Of course there's going to be monkeypox. Of course there's going to be disease, because we are not back to oneness. That's what source is saying. This is deep. I thought the message was deep on New Year's Eve when we were talking about the Moloch and the Marduk, the god of Babylon, and how that whole timeline was falling down. But this is even deeper because I channeled part of this back in July, me and the spiritual team. So what is really going on? That's why I say this is not an Erika Kirk. This is a collective energy field we're dealing with. And these, so to speak, timelines or energy, I call them energy fields. That's what we're dealing with. These things are collective. They're not individual. It's not an individual person doing anything to an individual up there on the stage talking. No, this is an entity that is implanting darkness, deception to pack in more destruction energy into already formed templates for the grand siphon of the human consciousness because they're trying to get back to this. They're trying to become this. So maybe if they kept pulling it apart and pulling it apart, and now they plug it into their matrix. This is deep, y'all. This ain't gonna be for the weak, this message. And now when they make that copy of Charlie, put that other C over here, baby. Right here. I'm gonna put AI, merge these together. Now they have a copy of what the matrix is coded as circles. And that's how they created the matrix. Shut your mouth now. Come on. Hold on. I am channeling. This is crazy. That's how they created the matrix. Off of us, divine feminine. They've already done this before. I thought it was small. I thought it was just Charlie and Erika's consciousness, just body hopping, just like all the rest of the celebrities. But this is deeper, y'all. They're changing whole. It's bigger than a timeline. They're changing whole eons. So now when there's some people who are saying, you think these celebrities who keep switching their consciousness and switching out their bodies, who's to say these people aren't the freaking fallen angels? It makes a lot more sense now. This is how they originally created the matrix. We've done this before, and that's why we left this behind. That's why we left this sign, because this, you can find this in everything. Boy, that had to be enough, right? But then they still found a way to mutate this and turn this over into a C, to now digitize this, make a copy, merge this together with AI, and they're going to just keep looping. This is how we get the loops. They are trying to loop us right now. If they take Charlie and finish this job, because they want to finish it during Passover, if we let them do that, if they finish this thing off, humanity will forget. We will be put down, shut down, consciousness lost again, hence why we had to leave a sign behind in the template to begin with, because they've done this before. So it's not just that they're going to reset, they're going to reset your mind too. You won't remember until you run the show all over again and you have your awakening yet again, a slow, incline back to this or this. I don't even know what to say. This is much bigger than we ever thought. We've done this before. They've already done this before so many times. And it was just in this moment I realized that we won't remember. We will not remember. And so humanity has some very tough decisions to make. We got to get out of their business and get back to aligning with the heart. Because if we don't, if we lose this, how will humanity ever get out? When this becomes this, look how, and then look. I think we're there. And then look, Erika, Kirk, this line. Now I see what she's doing. That circle, that C, this hook, death hook. You see the line, what she's doing? You see what they did to, you see what they did? They think they found the God gene. They think they found it. She has a line. The mutation through the eons has happened. It's been slow. And now with the technology and with the copy that they're making with Charlie going into all, and Erika, which is not Erika, which is the entity, going into all things. Alexa, your car, AI, GPS, everything creates this. We've already had the AI. We've done this before. We've already done this to create the circle. And this is the loop. And then they just keep looping and looping. But all they're doing is siphoning from this. They mutated it to traverse it to now cross back to get to this. And then when you see them, the ones that are over the matrix and all of the leaders of this world, that people say, oh my God, they're all this. And, I'm so happy to meet these celebrities and stuff. All they're doing is connecting with the original Christ energy to make themselves bigger than life. But look how much they had to mutate and then create an energy field like that circle. That's the energy field. This is what we are dealing with. We're dealing with energy fields. That's why people say, well, how do you do this work? And, you don't get an attachment. Look, if I'm here and I'm vibrating where the entity is, and if I'm not cleansing and purifying and doing what I need to do, then you in the energy field. It's that simple. Anybody can be in the energy field of anything. That's why they keep saying raise your vibration. But that's Erika. That's what they're drawing from that. And what does she have? And now we got freaking Turning Point USA acting like they are a ministry. It's just all a perversion of the cross. There's no other way to say it, but that's just what it is. And you can't make any of this up. And thank you, Source, for supernaturally bringing that document back. Okay, I'm going to answer questions about fasting. People are asking about that. Guys, okay, but aren't we here to remember? Yes, we are here to remember, but they want you to remember only what they code. They don't want you to remember the K, the original vibration of the cross, and that the X is the closest thing next to God. No, we're never to remember that. We're only, and that's why I say this old Akashic records, I'm not even dealing with that thing anymore because it's already colluded. We, us light workers, we're creating a whole new energy stamp, a whole new Akashic records. Hi, Tracy. So someone says, another diagonal. Yes, Kesha, that's what I'm saying. It's all because what did I say? It said the whole reason why they want us is because you have the God code. The reason why you think they want to get rid of us. No. They want to get you out of your Freeman status, hence Charles and Franz Vey, meaning Freeman. They want to get you out of that status so they can tinker around with your genes again. So they can make you not remember, so that their source, they want the God code. And they know that you have it. That's what they want. And they'll do anything to get it, even traversing timelines, even, bringing death and destruction, even, causing these, catastrophes, even doing the resets, even doing the mud floods, because it's to get you in a certain energy field where they can penetrate and take the God gene. That's what it is. The consciousness trafficking is what I'm talking about, because they want the God code. That's what it is. And you have that. And when you're a woman, you are in the wholeness. You're the closest thing next to God. And why do you think they have to demean women and do all these things and have, people abort their children and all of this stuff and promote that? Is because they just want to keep you lowered enough. They can't truly stop you because you are God, but they can stifle you, they can trick you, they can mutate, they can do all of those things. So all of this what's going on is simply just a mutation. This whole thing is a mutation of the cross. Everything we're seeing. Turning Point USA is a mutation. Our government is a mutation. Any world structures are a mutation. If it ain't aligning with the heart, then that ain't God. So basically, we are creating this, yes, but we don't remember that we are because you've been in a dream state. And because of the fragmentation, when they took the X chromosome and turned it into the Y, that created matter. The natural feminine flow, which is the creator of all things, the closest thing to God, was now encapsulated. That turned matter, and matter is how they were able to build the material world, right? So yeah, you have been lowered naturally in frequency, and then they put the patriarchy in charge, not because, it's all about men, but it's because it's to keep you, the closest thing to God, subdued so that they can crossbreed. And that's why the Greys be having children with a lot of earth children. And that's why they have to get you into Planned Parenthood and extract your aborted feces and all of that, because I'm sorry, girl, don't tell me they doing something with people's feces. I ain't going there tonight. Because, sometimes these slips be like what they really doing. Oh, I got to sit with that. Sometimes these slips be what they really doing. I don't know, guys. That's coming through strongly. They're doing something with feces. And remember the new variant, because it's the same thing over and over again. They have to bring an energy field. So if they bring another COVID situation, they bring the monkeypox, if they put the 6G, and I saw them installing 6G. What happened the last time I saw them installing the 5G? We had COVID. But I'm telling you, I don't know why that just came through. And but you can look at this like going back to our GI tract. Girl, we got to wake up. And the thing is, we've been waiting for the men to lead us. Here's the gag. They can't lead us back to ourselves. That's the truth. They can't lead us back to ourselves. The women, we have to be the one to go back into wholeness. This is our job, because we were trafficked, turned into matter. I saw it in my client session. She was a representation of what happened to the feminine energy. When we entered into the experience, she had these chains, like a big chastity belt, like on her, like where her pelvis area is, and I think around her neck. She's been enslaved. This is entrapment of consciousness. They've done this before. That's how it's weird, because we're viewing it in linear time. But when we break this down to get the circle, then we see we've already done it. All they're doing is repeating the process again. Oh, we were getting too close back to God. Oh, now we got to go back through this again. They do the same thing. They bring in AI. They pick the consciousness. They merge this together. Then they loop it out through the airwaves, through mass indoctrination, and then we have another loop inside of a loop inside of a loop. We've already done this before. Oh, Kesha says the reptilians have a thing for feces. Baby, because that is what is given. I was just like, what? What they doing with feces? Oh, oh. Do you guys hear about, okay, and I'm sorry, this is kind of gross, but you know, this what the source is saying. Do you guys hear about the, by the way, y'all that are in the fasting group, ain't you just hungry? I don't know, man, but I just, because I'm not drinking enough. I'm sorry, it's a sidebar. Like, I'm hungry, but I need to go drink some more juice. I'm not drinking enough. I need to drink more. But, so what was I going to say? Oh, so there are people who get like poop implants. Have you guys heard about it? Where they implant you, like if you're having stomach problems, they will like change out your feces with someone who has good, maybe gut bacteria. And then it's like a feces implant where it's supposed to fix your gut. So, and the gut also too is, see, we have three, I teach this in the psychic development class, but our gut is very powerful. It is in alignment to hear from God, right? So why do you think they're doing these things? They want to do everything except for go to the light. They've manipulated, changed DNA. Now they're getting feces implants to try to access, you know, God through that form of communication, through the gut mind. I'm just like, why don't you just go to the light? Why don't you just talk to source? Why you got to do all this? I'm just saying it. I mean, it would just be a lot simpler if they just did stuff the right way. Because this seems a little convoluted to do all this. It really does. So Angel said, that's crazy. They need appropriate fiber and water. Yeah. Oh, Barbara says, let me see. They do fecal implants for people who have chronic C. diff infections. Wow. Ooh, Kesha said they eat it too. Oh, madam. Yes, guys, it's a real thing. And the source just like slipped up and said that. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what, ew, these things are gross. Y'all, this is getting gross. I didn't know this message would be so gross. I really didn't. I'm sorry, y'all. Tracy, you hungry too, girl? Girl, I'm hungry. Ain't you just hungry? No, but in all honesty, like, I'm okay. It's just that I've been on this video for a few hours and I need to drink some juice. I need to go and get some more juice. So I'll be okay. Like, I just find myself like next week, I gotta really drink enough. So I went, I got like, I mean, I think I bought like 15 what do you call it? Pineapples, pounds and pounds of kale and spinach and cucumbers and parsley and so like I'm gonna be a juicing machine this weekend. So like I make sure like I can batch juice and drink enough. But I'm telling you guys, I've been doing a lot of healing on this fast, and I'm going to tell you guys in our Saturday when we meet for the quantum reset. I'm going to tell you guys what happened to me this week. I released something major, and the healing is beautiful. Every time you peel off a layer, you get access to more of your original codes, you know, and then you get back to just the flow of life. Oh, someone said the reptilians have a thing for feces. Oh, Lord. Oh, sorry. I got to get back to you. What to eat after 7-day dry fast? Okay. Thank you. You're doing a 7-day dry fast? Awesome. So I did a 7-day dry fast as well. So what you want to do is first and foremost, probably for the first day or two, especially the first day, You're only going to drink water. Do not guzzle this water. Go get you some really good water. I remember when I was coming off my dry fast, I went and got like 5 different waters. I was so excited. Do not drink this water fast. Sip it very slowly. Do that all day. I would even do water for the second day. Now you can drink it a little bit faster, right? You know? And then you want to start to rehydrate with some, you can do coconut water, you can do watermelon is good. Cucumbers, high water content juices. Do not go and eat anything after 7 days. And you can probably add the juices in on the second day too, as long as your stomach feels okay to take it. But you're gonna have to sip this stuff slow when you introduce it. So you got the water first, sip slow, and then you got the juice, high water content, juicy fruits. Juice that, still sip that slow. And then you can move on to, maybe having some actual juicy fruit. Like watermelon's a great one because it's mostly water. By the third day, you can just maybe eat some actual, juicy fruit. See how you feel. And I really wouldn't do any vegetables really until like that 4th or 5th day even. Depends on your stomach, but the vegetables always, me, it's more like 5 days before I can really get into like eating the vegetables. You can make a broth as well. If you want to have some like bone broth, even I think you'll even be fine having bone broth on the second day. But guys, you have to remember, because I did this before. If you get, you go and you make the bone broth, do not have any fat on that bone or you will get sick. So it has to be pretty much no fat or very low fat. So you can do that as well and sip the broth for a few days along with the juice, by the second day, third day. Even I would even say avocado would be fine even on the third day. Most people can handle it on the second day. Some people can't. You got to listen to your body. And then move into like a vegetable soup day 4 or 5, continuing on with the juice and the high water content fruits, juicy fruits. And so you're going to pretty much close out, take a whole nother week to come off of it. And this is how you keep from having the lymphedema, because you got to introduce salt and all that, and it needs time to process that. And I'm speaking from experience. And how you're going to prepare your stomach. Like before I eat after a fast, I'll mix some baking soda and water and take that little shot and just prepare my stomach to be able to take in the food. So that's what you're going to do after the dry fast. And then you want to be careful after that, like still probably in week 2, it just depends on your gut. I wouldn't go pounding down, pizza and pasta and heavy stuff, Oh, and some salads too, probably by day 4 or 5. I'm sure you can handle salads as well. With just some fresh lemon and some, little bit of, I don't know, maybe some olive oil a little bit. I'm sure you can handle it. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Angel, you mix in beets? No, okay, so I had this, I can't remember the juice I made with beets, but it was good. I think did it have watermelon in it or apples? I don't know. But I can't really juice beets like that unless I mix it with something I can barely taste it. Now, I do like the taste, but I don't like it to be forward. I like it just to be like just in there. Just hits the palate just a little bit. Sorry, guys. Now we're talking about our juicing, but the show has ended. That's it for that. But now we're just talking about our fasting. So So Sonia says Saturn is also linked to the filth and excrement, in various symbolic ways. Yeah. Oh, Satan. Yeah, Satan. Yeah. This is crazy. Y'all, they're eating our feces. Y'all, they probably in the sewers, just in love. I'm just saying. I guess that's why they pay good money to test your waist. Yep. The singer ruined people pronouncing my name. Oh, yeah. Yep. Kesha. Pineapple sounds good right now. I know. I still gotta wait for them to ripen though, because a lot of them aren't ripe, so I can't even. And I got like 3 or 4, 5 bags of oranges, like 8 pounds each. And then I got 5 pounds of 4 pounds of apples. Like I just was like, I need to make batch juice, but I'm just like, dang, now I gotta actually make all of it. Natalie, you drank the most horrible juice mixture yesterday. Red apple, lemon. Girl, you put lemon with the apple and red onion. Girl, Natalie, girl, please. You drank that? Oh my God, I could not. But I love red onion. If you give me a salad, you have to give me red onion, or it's not a salad. And I'm gonna need some olives, and not just any olives. There's a particular olive that I fancy. I don't know why I don't know. I just like those kind of foods. And I like the pickled red onions on the salad. Makes a world of difference. Avocado, gotta have it. Yeah, beets are very good for the heart. Angel says a friend of mine was drinking the onion juice daily to help. Yeah, it does help. Oh, my friend sent me a website with homeopathic sea medicine. I don't want to say it. And the cancer, I'll just say it. Screw y'all. I'm running this up in here. Y'all ain't running me. Cancer is also caused by something in the GI parasite. I'm telling y'all, a lot of these diseases are about the gut. That's why I'm telling you that's why Source was saying you better clean this gut out. And this new variant, or flu attacks the gut, the GI tract. I'm just saying. Black olives. I remember when I was in Italy, I had the most, like, I just eat olives. I never liked olives. Never liked olives. Like, I started getting into olives probably like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I did in my adult life, probably in my 20s, in my adult life, right? But like growing up, you could not get me to eat an olive, but like, I love olives. I love olive spread. Anything like Mediterranean, like, sign me up. That's my jam. I don't know about y'all. Y'all are brave on this juice thing. I just stuck to the simple protocol. I just stuck to the grapefruit, the orange, the lemon, the lime, the ginger, the turmeric, the what do you call it? The pineapple, right? All of these astringent juices to pull out, stuff from the GI. And then my green juices, my lemon ginger blast. And then I threw some watermelon juice in there simply because the watermelon made like a lot of juice. And I found that it was kind of hard to get a lot of juice. So I did that. And I've had coconut water as well. Oh, okay. So Keely said, OMG, Brandon Biggs. Yes, Brandon. Yes. Last Day's channel. Yep. He predicted that Trump would be shot in the ear. Yep. And receive a notification he's going live, the calm before the storm. That's the energy. That's the energy. That's literally what I channeled earlier. Me and my friend were talking. We're like, yeah, it's pretty calm out here. We both said the calm before the storm. It's pretty calm and kind of, it was interesting. It was just like a neutral feeling, calm before the storm. And then someone came in here and said it. I can't remember who said it. Did you say it, Kesha? In the beginning? Yep. Someone said it. I was like, yeah, that's the energy field. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Remember I was saying that this all happened before COVID. I saw them putting 5G towers in my neighborhood. What if I saw all month long them putting 6G tower? I know it's 6G because source already told me it was coming 6/7G. It won't just be, and I never got to this message. Y'all, we spend a long time on this. 6/7G is coming, and source gave me a long time ago that we are going to use our bodies as a step down. So like if I travel to another country, like if I go to the UK and then I want to plug my appliances in, I have to put the adapter in before I plug it in because it will step down how my electronics are coded to now go in to fit into that socket. Source was telling me about a technology, and I got to bring that that recording up, that we can use our body to, and it's a part of our body to step down so that we can limit their negative frequency. But this happened right before COVID. And now we got the flu variant that I've been saying I've been saying that this thing was coming, another pandemic. And Trump is still, the avatar Trump is also leaving the earth. And we've been also talking about that. So it's all happening, guys. But guess what? You know why? Now we see, I need to have this in the back. You know why it's happening? Because they're in the building stage. This is the stage they're in. This is where they are. What fills the gap in is AI, but they're in they need all of that. They need the fear, the disease, because they're putting us back in an energy field. They put us back in the COVID energy field to lower the frequency. They can get us back to the 1929 to crash the market, to go back to the Great Depression. And then they just traverse, and that's how they get to the reset. They have to pop into an existing energy field because they don't run nothing. They don't code nothing up in here. You and I are the creator of this. Especially if you're a woman, you're the closest thing next to God. So you might just be God. Just saying. Just saying. So that's why they're doing it, because they're in the building phase right here to get to here. And then they're going to just be, that's how they get the loop. So the reset, beloved, is the loop. Because the part that we didn't know is that you don't remember. You don't remember because they took this and turned it to create and duplicate. Because like I said, Charlie, it ain't Charlie's consciousness. It's whatever the entities are doing. The Charlie's consciousness / entity is doing the work. And then the Erika Kirk entity is doing this work. So they took this, turned it into this to replicate what we said in the last video, to replicate themselves, to have two. That's why I had two streams happening at once, representing both of these mutations that they were doing. And then when they bring the AI, and they're going to make digital copies of this and create another loop. So when they do that, you will get a reset. During Passover, you will get a reset. But the reset comes at a cost, especially to the ones who haven't awoken. They won't ever awaken. They won't remember. They will not remember this. They will only exist within these circles and circles energy fields. And that's where they want you, because they can just diagonal through the traversing and the mutation of this stuff and get back to this, because that is the whole thing. They want to take this and put it here. and put this here so that you think that this is the final mutation and that they are the beginning, the circle, the loop. Not true. Source never lies. That's it. And that's all. Kesha, are you on Telegram? Well, I just started Telegram from the fasting group that we're in. So technically, I guess, yes, that I am on Telegram, but I wasn't. But I'm still learning how to use it. I guess you would say. But technically, yes, I am. Do you guys realize how many people have died today? Oh Lord. Oh my God, who? Oh my God. Kasha, tell us who. It's getting freaky, guys. The psychic investigation is getting freaky. I don't know what to say. I'm going to look into that after we close out here. I need to close out because I need to drink my juice. And I got a long day of sessions tomorrow, more quantum hypnosis sessions. So guys, take advantage of the link down below and book your own quantum telepathic hypnosis session with past life regression. It is supernatural. And I'm going to be channeling in the session. I do the automatic drawing. So people I just tell clients, they're like, I can't get into hypnosis. I can't find it. I don't know where it is. Baby, I got the blueprint written right here. All you need to do is trust me and allow me to guide you. I got you. I got you. It's not a thing, So just you're in good hands with Allstate. Had to say it. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Yep, because so many people can see through Erika. There's hope for humanity, yes, but they're trying to skew the hope, which is why I got that really crazy message in those 3D block letters, and hope was distorted. And it had 1929. They're trying to distort our hope, right? But they won't do it, not to us here. Okay. Natalie says, I got African and Caribbean fruits and vegetables. Ooh, kiwano, white star apple. Ooh, yes. Girl, Natalie, you got the goods. We got to come to where you live in so we could juice like you. Edos, kayate, squash, guava. Ooh, passion fruit. I love that. I got to get some of that. Passion fruit and guava. Yep. Oh, thank you, Kesha. Good night, guys. I love you guys so much. This has just been amazing, guys. I love you guys so very, very much. And I am just gonna get out of here and see you guys in the next one because I'm tired. Good night, guys. I love you. Good night. Good night, Angel. See you Saturday. All right, guys. Good night. Bye, Sister Carolyn, Sister Gail, Sister Sonia, Vicky, Kesha, Natalie, Sister Natalie, Keely, everyone, Brenda in the chat, Barbara. Let me get out of here, guys.